18 American soldiers are dead, 430 are wounded, and the man in charge of the war cannot quite explain how it will cost $37.5 billion. That is the number the American Defense Secretary produced this week in front of a Senate committee without a clear method for arriving at it. From here in Europe, that combination is what stands out. Enormous sums, enormous stakes, and a shrug where the arithmetic should be. Let us be precise, because Washington was not. The Pentagon now says the war against Iran has cost the United States $37.5 billion, a figure that includes not only what has been spent, but what the government expects to spend through the end of September. In March, the same administration estimated the first 6 days at $11.3 billion. Last month, President Trump asked Congress for almost $90 billion more, most of it tied to Iran. This week, his defense secretary came back asking for another $67 billion in emergency funds. The numbers keep moving, always upward, always vaguely. What a European notices first is that no one in Washington seems entirely sure how this war began, only that it will not end. President Trump says the United States is nowhere near finished with Iran. He estimates the rebuilding of that country will take at least 20 years. He has threatened to destroy civilian infrastructure, which the United Nations has warned would be a war crime. And he has floated the phrase every European dreads to hear again, a war of indefinite duration. Here is the part that genuinely surprises us. This is not a war the American public wanted. During the Defense Secretary's own testimony, protesters held up anti-war banners and interrupted him. Members of his own party, Republicans, complain they were never briefed. A senior Democrat on the Budget Committee said the president is threatening escalation and war crimes and treating this as open-ended. Another said Americans are angry because the government's past statements no longer match reality. That is a striking admission from inside the system itself. And yet the money will likely flow because the mechanics of American power are peculiar. The Republicans hold only a narrow majority in both chambers. Budget bills need Democratic votes to pass. So the very lawmakers publicly denouncing the war are the ones whose signatures will fund it. In Berlin, we would call that a contradiction. In Washington, it is called Tuesday. Meanwhile, the fighting itself grinds on. 11 straight nights of American bombing, explosions again in Tehran, Iran striking American bases across the Gulf. American soldiers killed in Jordan, a ceasefire that lasted at one point about a single day. And through it all, a running tab that has already passed $37 billion, with the person requesting the money unable to show his work. From the outside, the pattern is familiar and unsettling. A superpower drifts into an indefinite conflict, funds it on estimates it cannot justify, and asks its own reluctant legislature to keep paying. Europe has seen where these open-ended wars lead. We had rather hoped America had too. That's the view from here. What does it look like where you are? Drop it in the comments and subscribe for the perspective American media won't give you.